Today we're going to be working on a 2019 Lexus GS 350. We'll be taking out the radio and the display up here. Alright, so to remove the radio, we'll be taking off this big piece of trim here. It also has the start-stop button in it, so we'll show you how to take that out as well. We're going to be using a pry tool. If you just go in at the top corner and go to the other side, and get the top out, and then from there you can just kind of work your way around it with the pry tool. And if you need to open the glove box to get to the side, you can as well. And then start-stop button over here, which has a quick release on the driver's side to take that out. And then if you do want to take this out so you can test without putting the trim back in, there's going to be a clip at the top and a clip at the bottom. So if you just push in on those, it'll come out towards you. And then we're going to plug that back in. And then from here, we'll be removing the bolts on the bottom to take out the radio. So the first bolt we're removing is back here, like almost right behind the radio. And we're taking out the other one on the driver's side. And from here, the radio just pulls out. Alright, so now we're going to unplug everything back here. And now that we've got that removed, we'll move on to the display. Alright, so to get out the display, we're going to be taking off this piece of trim here, which has 3 Phillips heads that are holding it in. So we'll be removing those. And to do that, we're going to be using a right angle. So these are plastic, so when you do put them back in, you can just push straight in, and then when you do take them out, if you push up while you're unscrewing them, they will go back in. So you have to loosely unscrew these. And now that we've got all those removed, we're going to go ahead and take our pry tool and pry along the top. And once you've got that loose, you're going to pull down, and you'll see these are what hold it in that the screws go into. So we'll get all those out, and then from there you'll be able to just pull on this out from the top. And you want to pull down and slide the back towards the screen, and then it'll come out. Alright, so to take out the display, we're going to be taking out the 4 10mm. There's 2 on each side. And once you've got all 4 of those removed, the display will just pull out. You want to tilt it down like this to pull it out of the cavity, and you can tilt it back up. And from here we'll be disconnecting this. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and connect all of our harnesses. We're going to start behind the radio here. We're going to be connecting our MCF LEX78, and we'll be connecting that here to this big 59 pin. And once you push that in, you'll just lock this here. And then lastly, we'll be connecting the 16 pin here. I'm going to plug that into the female side of our harness. And that's everything we need to connect behind here, so we'll move on to the display next. Alright, so behind the display, we're going to be connecting our GVMF cable. We're going to plug the female side in here, and then we'll leave this disconnected for now because this will be going into the display itself. And then this end we're going to run down behind the radio so that we can run it with our main harness. And there's a small corner over here where you can fit it in. And now that we've got that ran through, we're going to go ahead and run our wires to the glove box, and we'll come back. Alright, so now we're going to be connecting the display. Here we're going to connect our GVMF cable. We're going to connect the female side here. And then we'll leave this hanging since this plugs into the display itself now. And then we're going to run this down behind the radio so we can run it with the main harness to the glove box. The best place to do that is in this corner over here. You'll see some loom coming down already from the factory wiring, so we're just going to follow that. Now that we've got that through, we're ready to run our wires to the glove box. Alright, so we're going to run our wires back behind here, and we're going to pull them up through this corner over here. Alright, so now that we've got our wires into the glove box, we're going to go back and reinstall the display and the radio and make sure everything works. Alright, so we're going to start connecting everything back here. We're going to start with all of our harnesses on the bottom. And once we've got all those connected, we can go and connect our main harness here. Make sure you have this unlocked. You're just going to slide it into place and then push down the lock. And the other part of our harness, the 16 pin, connect that there. And we're just going to make sure we didn't miss any plugs. There we go. And now that we've got everything plugged back in, all you have to do is just push it back into place. And you just want to make sure you line up all the clips as you push it in. There we go. So now that we got that seated, we'll go ahead and put our 2 screws back in. And then we'll put the other one in on the driver's side. Go. And now that we've got those in, we'll move on to the display next. Alright, so we're going to connect these back into the display up here. And once we've got both those connected, our GVMF here and then the factory plug on this side, we're going to slide this back in at an angle and tilt it back. There we go. And if you did it right, all 4 holes should line up. And then we can go ahead and screw those in. Alright, so next we'll be putting in this trim. Similar to the display, we're going to tilt it down a little bit. And if you push along the bottom, it should go into place. There we go. And once you've got it in place, then you can start putting these back in if they did come out. You're going to have to put them in at kind of an angle because you have to get all 4 of these in. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And once you've got all the inserts in, then you can just push these in. You don't have to screw them in, they'll just push right in. Alright, now that we've got that done, we're going to go ahead and test, and then we'll reassemble everything else. Alright, so we're going to put the trim back here. We're going to unplug the start-stop button. And we're going to put that back in the trim. You're just going to put that in how you took it out. Just push it in. You'll hear it click into place. Then from there, we'll line it up and plug it back in. And to get this to seat right, you do want to make sure the bottom goes in. And if it doesn't, then you can pull everything back out and try again. There we go. And once it's all lined up, it'll fit into place perfectly. And now we've got everything installed and we're ready to finish the cable management and mounting the V-line.